Hello, I'm Anne-Marie Carvalho. I'm a counsellor and I run my own therapy agency in central London. I'm also a family lawyer and a mediator. So this is the second video in my series called Bite Size Therapy. And the idea behind these short videos is just to talk about the stuff that regularly comes up with my clients in therapy, sort of issues that come up all the time, sort of stuff that keeps people awake at night, and to think about practical tips, suggestions, give you some ideas for stuff that I find really works for other people and that I also find really works for me in my own life. So today we're going to talk about anger. Which is a brilliant subject, I think, because when people think about therapists and counsellors, they don't normally associate anger with those sorts of people. I think they think about people kind of wandering around in long robes, like wafting around, being really zen and Buddha-like, and never getting angry about anything. So I'm not exactly like that. Anyone who knows me will tell you. I am acquainted with anger, I'm quite a fiery personality in many ways. And it was kind of shown to me a few weeks ago because I've been doing quite a lot of running in lockdown, and I put something on social media and I was asking people for suggestions of good songs to run to. So people sent me loads of ideas and they were really good. But one thing really struck me, which is that a lot of the songs people were suggesting were what I would consider to be very chilled out, mellow music. Whereas when I exercise to really, really angry music because it's the only thing that keeps me running and stops me thinking about the pain of running. So for me, typically it would be like feminist, angry, spurned woman music. I'm gonna kind of get you all back in the end. That's like my kind of thing. But it really got me thinking, oh my God, like, am I just more angry than other people? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Maybe that's something I'll take to my own therapist. But what it does mean is that I'm well acquainted with anger and I have had to develop tools to help me deal with that throughout life. So the tool that I want to share with you today, which is a really, really easy way of dealing with anger, is something I think really, really works. And partly it really, really works because I think it's a little bit naughty. But you'll see what I mean in a minute when I get there. So the goal of this is to get you from, and I've got a prop here today, to get you from this. This is my depiction of an angry face. There you go, there's my angry balloon face. I'm really bad at drawing, by the way. And we're going to try and get you to this. This is like the Buddha. This is the goal. But what I also did with this balloon is I depicted the other side of anger on the flip side of it, which is what my husband likes to refer to as my, my dead cod face. This is the face I pull when I'm angry sometimes, which is this kind of mournful, the end of the world is nigh, nothing's ever going to be good again type face. So yeah, that's a charming picture of what I look like when I'm angry sometimes. So our tip for how to get rid of anger in a really, really quick way with someone who's annoying you, whether it's a client, whether it's a friend, a family member, whoever. And my tip is, I want you to get a notebook, any notebook, get a pen, and write down 10 reasons why you would not want to be that person. So 10 reasons why you would not want to be the person you're angry with. And I find that this really, really works. And I think it works for two reasons. The first reason being, it helps you to generate some feeling of compassion for that person. Because we all know that in theory, other people suffer in life, but we find it really, really difficult to connect with that. We find it really, really difficult to empathise with that when someone's annoyed us. So what writing a list of 10 reasons why you wouldn't want to be that person does is it helps you to get in touch with their suffering. So for example, if I'm annoyed with somebody that I work with, and I start writing this list and I think to myself, okay, I'm really annoyed. I'm really fed up with this person. But I remember they told me that a couple of years ago, they lost their job and it really knocked their confidence. stick that down on the list. And it really helps me to start getting into a frame of mind where I can feel a little bit of compassion for that person. Or, for example, a lot of my clients are lawyers. So if someone's a lawyer and they've got a client who's constantly giving them a hard time, then they might stick down on the list that that person's going through a really messy divorce and it's really painful, and that, you know, they wouldn't want to be, the lawyer wouldn't want to be in that position themselves. Or they might think, okay, I know that that client is really critical of me, but I can also see that they're really critical of themselves, and it must be awful wandering around life with such a kind of critical internal voice. So the second reason why I think these lists really work is that by thinking about the things in someone else's life that you wouldn't want in your own life, it helps you to start generating gratitude for the stuff that you do have in your life. So I'll give you an example of this. A few months ago, I was on my phone in the street checking out some news about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and some guys came up on a motorbike and nicked the phone right out of my hand. It really bothered me. I was really upset about it. It was a brand new phone, you know. I hadn't got it insured. It was grim. But what I did was I did a version of one of these lists, and I wrote down. It really got me thinking. I was thinking, okay, I'm financially stable. These guys, if they're doing that, if they're going around on a motorbike nicking people's phones, clearly they're not. They don't have financial security. And it just helped me to take the heat out of the anger a little bit, because, you know, I was so kind of puffed up with my anger about the whole thing that I wasn't able to think, actually, I'm really grateful for the fact that I am financially stable. This is not going to break the bank. It is going to be okay. And it just took, like I say, it took some of the heat out of that anger about the situation. It helped me to kind of process the whole thing. So those are the two reasons why these lists really work, because they help you to generate compassion for the other person, and they also help you to generate gratitude for the stuff that they have in your life. And the last thing I'll say about these lists, and the thing I really like about them, is that they do feel a bit naughty when you start doing them. It does feel a bit like, oh God, I'm like slightly gloating in other people's misery in some way, you know, writing down why I wouldn't want to be them. But that's not the point. Number one, the point is to generate empathy and compassion and gratitude. But also, I kind of think, if somebody comes to me when I'm more puffed up in anger, like my angry face, or my dead cod face, if one of my friends says to me when I'm in that mood, oh, just go and like write a gratitude list and, you know, get really zen about it, I'm going to tell them to naff off, because I'm just not in that frame of mind. Whereas if someone says to me, why don't you write a list of reasons why you wouldn't want to be that person, it appeals to that like slightly naughty, like angry side of me. But by the time I've done the list, I've come through it and I've got the compassion and the empathy and all of that stuff. So it takes me down from my like rage, and it gets me a little bit more like my friend, the Buddha. So there you go. That's my idea. Do 10 reasons why you wouldn't want to be that person. My dog's just started barking now, so that's slightly unfortunate. So I shall end it here. I hope you've enjoyed this. There's loads more stuff, loads more blogs and things on my website, www.carvallotherapy.com. And thank you for watching. Bye.